Well, as the election ramps up, President Obama pressing unions to just pay up. The Obama campaign reportedly asking three of the biggest ones to pay for part of the $36 million Democratic National Convention. Gary B. Smith says unions emptying their pockets on the president is just more proof that unions are in his pocket and he in theirs. He's joined by Lizzie McDonald and Richard Benjamin. Gary, explain.
Well, I'll tell you what, Neil, this is apparently, I guess they need another $18 million. 2008, unions donated $8 million to the convention, so I'm sure they have the pockets, but the payoff is fantastic for unions. For example, Obama wants to increase this whole job retraining budget by $2.8 billion. Guess who administers that? Organized labor. So the payoff for unions for, maybe another $8–9 million is huge.
You know, Richard, I was hearing this, and whether you argue there's a connection here for helping them out at the convention or not, it doesn't look good, does it?
It looks great in the sense that unions basically are working people's political action committee. And so in order to ramp up and get jazz for the convention...
Are you kidding? But I love you to death, but this is a pack on steroids.
It's a strong pack, but look at the corporate special.
And now, after they give him $400 million, he says, by the way, could you pick up the tab at the convention?
But by the way, this is blowing up the conservative blogosphere, and it's a distraction from the corporate special
interests.
Blowing
up the conservative. It's just a little weird.
That are funding the Republican convention.
Well, flip it around. If oil companies were to do that with President Bush to pay for a convention, you would have holy connections, right?
They already did, No,
they didn't.
Not just oil, but pharmaceutical companies,
I'm
contractors.
talking a convention.
All of these.
You get high and mighty about this issue about who pays for what, and yet if it's a friend like unions, it's not so bad. Right?
In this case, it's not, and it's true. It's going to be the president's political benefit, by the way.
Yeah.
It's going to. It's
Lizzie, by the way, keep it down. Do you have any concerns with this?
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. It's not just the idea of the political payback that the president opens himself up to, and Gary B. mentions job training. It's also the snap elections that the Senate has been saying that they want for unions to unionize at companies have been trying to beat back. That's what the president leaves himself open to. To my mind, I'm for free market, for first speech rights. Unions are allowed to do what they want. But the irony is the president opened himself up to this when he put a self-imposed ban on corporate donations because he didn't want TARP banks or TARP bailout companies coming in to pay.
Well, you mentioned a good point. If you're going to go the whole route of just having companies or outside interest or PACs or whatever pick up the tab rather than anyone else, in this case, taxpayers aren't picking up convention tabs, but you get my point, then fine.
Yeah,
then fine.
That's right.
And be honest about it.
That's right, and be transparent about it. This is very hush-hush. The White House is not talking about it. The Democratic Party is not talking about it. And so that makes people think, hey, why are they hush-hush about it? Is there a payback? You don't want to hear about that talk.
Well, it's always the appearances, right? I mean, Gary B., it's always the appearances, right?
No, absolutely. And if unions really were the working person's political action committee, if you will, it would probably be viewed as a good thing. But I think most people know, as we've seen in kind of the right-to-work states, attracting labor, that unions cost jobs. So it really, I think people say, oh my gosh, unions, that's not helping the average working person. In fact, it's working against them.
Would you have thought at the beginning of last year, Richard, that this money, this outside money, whether from unions or corporate entities or everyone in between, would be paying such a large role? Jimmy Carter said something in an interesting interview I was watching, that when he and Ronald Reagan went at it in 1980, not $1 came from outside interest in that contest, not $1. Look at now.
I am surprised. But once Citizen United was passed, we're not surprised. So we have billionaires who basically bought the Republican primary.
Yeah, but the president bemoaned that decision on the floor of the House, right? And now he's profiting from it.
Only through unions. I wouldn't use the word profiting.
Oh, come on.
He has some political benefit from the union involvement.
Than I do Italian delis. He is set for 10 lives, right? I mean,
look at the labor movement did donate $400 million to the 2008 campaign. I'm just saying he opens himself up to a lot of criticism over this.
Then you don't take it. Then if you feel strongly about that, but obviously he can't not take that position, right? Because then your opponent would have the advantage. So you both go long on this money?
For two reasons he's taking it. A, the convention needs the money, but B, working people by recalling Scott Walker through the Ohio referendum have had a lot of success. So it makes
Have you ever lent people money?
Yes.
When I've done it, they keep asking for more.
You never lend anyone money unless you're willing to throw it down the
But that's
toilet.
my point. When he comes to the union, so need money. They give money. I need more money for this. I need for the convention.
Yeah.
They're going to be paying for his suits pretty soon and his ties. I mean, they don't stop.
How does that differ than corporations on the Republican
I'm not
side?
justifying it on either side. I'm just saying it gets unseemly. To your point.
Here's the issue, and you make a good point, Richard. The issue is that
And I didn't.
you both did. But the president is asking, the White House is asking the unions to bail out the convention when the White House has helped to bail out the unions via the auto bailouts, and that's what he opens himself up to those criticisms too. And I agree, corporations on the other side of the aisle for the GOP, that's an issue as well.
Guys, thank you very, very much. Always good seeing you. In the meantime, taxpayers are losing billions on it. Banks can't get out of it. Can't say we didn't warn you about it. The bank bailout mess that is getting worse, and the watchdog who's exposing it all.